different people deal with their lives in a very different fashion. For me, I've always had myself or my life split into two or three aspects. I mean, generally professional or academic. Then I've got my family time, and lastly, but very importantly, I've got me, myself. So during the last 20 months, professional life for me has been obviously very, very challenging because I had a public sector branch, and the focus of that branch is industrial finance. I mean, given the turmoil that companies, industries across all genres, if I can use that word, have faced, it has been very, very difficult to make sure that the companies are running smoothly to the extent possible. So that has taken even greater energy and time from me. And but the lockdown has given a unique and superb opportunity for us to spend far more quality time with our families. So I've been very, very happy on that front. I've started a new family, and we've had some of the greatest moments of our lives in the last 20 odd months. But when it comes to me, myself, that's where that fortress of solitude actually comes into play. So for a person like me who loves the outdoors, I mean, I love action, I love adventure, extreme sports, traveling into the rugged mountains, deep diving in the seas, skydiving. So for me, all these have been so deeply constrained that I've had to do something here. So for me, the solitude fortress has been directed towards one or two aspects. One is that I've worked on my physical aspects. I've worked out much more. I've taken care of my diets, my sleep patterns, my exercising, and I've also pushed my family into that. So I mean, if you check my family out, our fitness levels, I'm sure, have grown up manyfold. And secondly, I've prepped myself in a way to take on the world, the outdoors, once everything is normalized. So I'm a biking enthusiast, so I worked on my motorcycle. I've prepped it up. I spent a lot of time. I did stuff myself. I mean, I got panniers and footboards. I designed them. I got them fabricated. So I dare say now that it's one of the best modified bikes in the country. I'm very sure about it. And even between these last 20 months, we've got some intermittent holidays, where the infection rates have fallen down and people have taken things slightly easy, myself included, and which has in fact again resulted in the numerous waves or sub-waves, as people are calling them. So I've had one or two trips to the Himalayas and to the forests. So generally worked in that. But when it comes to my psychology, which is probably where you want to get your answer from, that I have done only on research aspects, because I normally deep dive into research for my book or my papers, whatever I write. So I've taken the last number of months and done some very good and deep research, and come up with an outline for the next book, which will be a non-fiction, because I've had more time to research topics. So I'm writing my next book on entrepreneurs, business experts, financing, private equity. So this probably will be a treatise from my side, all the experiences that I've gained in industrial finance over the last 12-13 years, and my management degrees, and I think I'm going to try and squeeze all of that into a book, and for the benefit of everybody. So deep within me, my fortress of solitude has been my work, my most cherished aim of life, which is researching, academics, and coming up with written stuff. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but in my view, mental health is a understanding of the status of well-being or happiness, self-confidence, the way you treat others, the way you feel for yourself, the way you feel for others, what you feel is the purpose of your existence, whether you're fulfilling it, whether you're living up to what you can do. All these things for me comprise mental health. So if you are a sound person, or if you have a person with sound mental health, you will be generally predisposed towards happiness rather than sadness. You will be predisposed towards peace rather than anger. Maybe you will be predisposed towards motivation and motivating others also, rather than getting depressed and wanting to be alone and afar from all activity. So that, according to me, would be in a layman's term, who understands psychology largely, because even the nature of my job is it involves reading people, because I put money in the hands of others, public money. So I do spend a lot of time understanding the person's motivation, his skills, whether he is being truthful, honest, whether he has what it takes to succeed in his business, or whether he has the intention of returning the funds, taking care of his employees. So that kind of overall understanding, practical level, empirical, I may be having. So in general, I think mental health is not really just the absence of a mental sickness, but it is about being happy, motivated, enthusiastic, looking forward to events, looking forward to meeting at least the people who you already know, if not new people, looking forward to family gatherings. If you have a cherished aim, working on that. If you have lost somebody, then trying to deal with it. If you are not able to get an aim, trying to cope up with that and moving on to a next aim, perhaps more realizable aim. So that all that plethora of directions converge into a vector of something which is called as mental health. That is according to me, and I also take into cognizance all of that when I deal with my own health. Naturally, I have fits of anger, fits of depression, bouts of if we can coin a word, anti-motivation. I also feel dejected sometimes. I feel jealous also, and I feel sad also. But I think even that also comprises mental health only. If you are healthy, you will be able to come out of these and move into the positives. That then you are a mentally healthy person. It is impossible that nobody feels anger or demotivated or jealous. You will feel them. I feel them. Everybody feels them. Even psychiatrists will feel them. But how soon you can get out of it, how less help you need of others continuously, that I think comprises mental health. There is no harm in taking help. In fact, you should take help. Your primary help givers will be your beloved friends and your family members, your father, your mother, your wife, and after one age, even your son and daughter-in-law. They will also help you. But how soon you can come out of it, that is an indication of mental health. So this is a more empirically understood system of what I think is mental health. Includes every aspect of your body, mind, and soul. That is a difficult question to answer, frankly, because how to gauge whether I am doing enough to take care of myself? The issue with mental health is you may not realize that you're not doing very well. You may not realize it, and the day you realize it, you obviously will take care. You will either take care or help from others or even professionals, and that should be done. Now, whether I am taking enough care, I don't know. My routine is that I wake up early in the morning, say about 5:20 or so. Then after about 45-50 minutes of having some supplements, creatine and protein and coffee, I head to the gym. I work out for not a very long time, work out for about 40-45 minutes, and I get back and I spend about 1 hour with my toddler baby and my father. And then a little bit of prayers. I have another bath, second bath after the gym, and then I head to office. And generally I am predisposed towards happiness. That's generally how I am. And even in the branch I keep slightly an informal atmosphere. And then in the evening I come back, and again I spend a lot of time with my kid and my family. Then I do some reading and perhaps a little bit of research and a little bit of home workout. Then I spend about an hour or so with some social media or your OTT programs, Netflix, Amazon Prime. So in general, I think I am leading an okay, healthy, mentally healthy lifestyle. So yeah, I think I'm taking adequate care for myself, and I also spend a lot of time talking to my juniors, my colleagues, and my family members, trying to understand their issues also. A lot of people share their intimate issues with me, and not that I can solve the issues, but I can perhaps help them either coming to terms with the problem or to deal with it in the best possible way. And I enjoy it. I've been given feedback that generally I'm a good person to come to with issues that may not directly deal with the mental health, but at least an issue that results in a mental health problem. So we can tackle that. I mean, there has to be two-pronged strategy to deal with mental health also. So one is dealing with mental health with chemicals or with psychological management, and the other one is actually dealing with the issue. If that issue is removed, perhaps your mental health will also come back to normal. So I think I take care. May not be too much, but in a general way, in a maintenance level, I do take care of my mental health quite a lot, and even of those around me. Way too many, man, way too many. See, firstly, if you go into a shell in a way, because unless you are to yourself, you're there on the table with a pen and a paper or a laptop with a button, you cannot write. You have it is a very solitude kind of a job. It's a task that takes time, and depending on what your schedules you have kept for yourself, you are going to be under stress. Writing a good book may take anything up to, from 2 months. I know a lot of successful authors like Neil De Silva. He's written his first book in a month, which is still one of the best sellers in horror. And I know people like Lord of the Rings, it took 17 18 years to write a book. So it's very difficult. So keeping up that the same level of enthusiasm, the storyline, which of course will evolve over time, but keeping it right there in situ, not allowing it to die out, not allowing it to get doused for long periods of time. You write a book, then you send a submission, you wait for replies for months together, and you just don't know what's going to happen with it. And once that happens, the publication process, the marketing process, it takes years to build an author. Everybody can be a writer, but to be an author, it takes ages. Now, whether one book is successful, the book may be successful, but are you as an author successful? So the entire process is a lifetime, actually. It's a lifetime. So the rigor that your mind goes through is immense. You don't really make you can't make ends meet writing one book, or even perhaps two books, except the A-listed. I won't say lucky. I mean, who had a perfect timing for a perfect story or anything. In general, it takes years for you to get established as an author and to actually make ends meet via sales of books. You can start off as an hobby, but until you monetize your hobby, you're not really getting anywhere. So you have to work professionally elsewhere, start a business, or depend deeply on others, which none of us will like to do. So it's a very mentally rigorous, challenging task, but it also gives you thrill when you produce something. It's your creation. You've created the characters, you asked, you've told them where to go, what to do. It's just amazing. I mean, that's the benefit. I mean, that's the placative balm for all the rigors that your mind will undergo writing the whole one book. Then you write two, then you write four, then you write 10. So until you have 3 or 4 books minimum out there in the market, all of them available, selling, you're not really an author, you're just a writer. So it's a very rigorous and very challenging task, as I've said. And but you have to cope up, because there is no pains, no gains, man. So whenever you want to push for success, effort is not something you have to start measuring. You really have to just push it, and you have to love what you're doing. So if you love writing, then you won't feel the pressure so much. If your target is to become a best-selling author, you will feel pressures. You should come into writing business only if you like and love writing. If you love the art of narration, if you're a raconteur. If you're not a raconteur, stay away. You can't write a novel to become a best-selling, commercially successful author. It's not going to happen. It never does. It shouldn't. It really shouldn't. You don't become a cricketer because you want to make money. You become a cricketer because you loved cricket in the first place. Same with books. So your pressures can be very low if you just love it. I do. I've always written, whether published or not. There are so many things that I've written all over the place in my, all my books, all my textbooks, scribbled, scratch pads, all over the place. None of them has been shown to anybody else, except the first big proper book of mine, and now secondly, because I'm now trying to make it. I'm streamlining myself, monetizing my hobby, becoming established as an author. That's my goal now. Up until now, I just loved this. So you do face rigors, but not so much if you love it. And rigors will be there in any line if you want to excel. If you want to start an app and push, it become the best-selling app, most downloaded app, there'll be rigors in that. So you have to keep pushing, hang in there, and enjoy the process. So rigors are there, but you have to naturally, live up to them. And this is my favorite. This is going to be my favorite question. Well, a writer, a banker, and a biking and adventure enthusiast. I don't have to juggle with all of them. I love all of them. I'm not letting go of any one role while I'm doing the other. I'm not. So I have them all three with me all the while. All the while. If I'm writing something, I'm still taking phone calls from my customers or my bosses, even at odd times, and I'm still planning, what to do on my ride, or on the next adventure trip that I may or may not have. So I keep doing all the things all the while. I mean, it's there in the mind. This is in fact the correct answer for the first question that you asked. The fortress of solitude. I don't remove one aspect of my life entirely when I'm doing the other. Naturally, you have to split your life or your time into several aspects. I mean, when you're having a bath, you're not reading a newspaper. You can't do it. So obviously it will split. But in your mind, it's just like I'll finish my bath and then I'll read a newspaper and then I'll go there and I'll go there. So I'm not juggling. It's naturally when if you're in the bank, you really have to work 5 or 6 days as the week may hold. So you can't really be skydiving in those days. But then you'll do it on a Sunday, or you'll do it on a holiday that you're planning next month. And when you're going on a holiday, you'll just ride your bike. I mean, I've got some international road trips also. All of them so much fun. I mean, you plan out your work actually. So I'll plan out major proposals or presentations in such a manner that I will certainly not have an issue of taking 7 or 8 days off for meeting my other life's aims and goals. So how you plan out work will eventually allow you how you plan out your family and your hobbies. So I take care of that very clearly. I make teams in my branch and I empower them slowly. I either myself train them or I get them trained adequately. I give them good exposure and I trust them. They will make mistakes, I will correct them 4 times, 5 times. Then they will stop making those mistakes because I was there 4 years back, 5 years back. So I have learned in the same way. I have been lucky to have very good bosses, and I'm just trying to be, another good boss to my teammates, and good colleague to all my compatriots. So I manage my profession in such a manner. I don't go at 8 o'clock and return at 9. I don't do that. I mean, I maintain very good time, and I encourage everybody at office to leave for home well in time, do the work. We don't go home on Saturdays, Sundays, and overburdens. I don't remember any of my bosses generally, going on calling me except in exigencies at odd timings. None of them, bothers each other. So that juggling concept is not very difficult if you manage your time slightly better. So I work out, as I told you, in the morning. I sleep well. Then I go to office, and I generally don't have family issues that will keep cropping up in my during this 8 or 9 hours that I'm at work. So I'll work very efficiently, and I'll get back home on time. Then I'll spend time with my family. I'll work out properly. I'll also go and maybe just take a ride with my motorcycle or my jeep. And on a Saturday or Sunday, I'll go for a short jaunt. I don't miss out on Saturday, Sundays. For me, Sunday is not a day I sleep 13 hours. I don't sleep any more on a Sunday or a Saturday night than I sleep on any of the other nights. In fact, I wake up with even more enthusiasm at 5:30 on a Sunday morning, because then I'll be able to go to the gym. I'll be able to go for a ride, and it's like you own the road. There's so much less traffic and pollution on a Sunday morning. You just love it. You love it. And then every 2 months we'll plan out a nice trip, either a trekking trip or a rafting or a bungee or something, or just simply a pleasure trip, which we generally don't do. We are more into adventure and slightly difficult trips, and people will normally avoid them, but it gives us pleasure. I mean, snow camping, snow treks, it gives us great pleasure. So we plan out there. People will like resorts, so they can easily go there. I mean, you can even do some work every 7 hours, 8 hours, even in Maldives. So juggling is not very difficult if you really have to juggle. For me, I take all the three things in two of my hands, so it's not a big juggling exercise for me. I enjoy it. I'm never away from work, even when I'm on a trek. Of course, unless the phone is out of coverage. So I'm not very far away from work. And writing also, I don't do every day. Every day I don't write. Maybe I research or read or make a mental note of some things, or even scribble something which I found interesting. But I will write only at a stretch. Either I'll take a group of leaves, or maybe a weekend, and so it does not conflict every day. It's not a pressure for me. Oh my God, it's 7:30. I have to start writing now for 2 hours, even if I don't want to. I don't mess it up. So I start writing when I feel like, and it will surprise you. Well, I feel like writing a lot, so you'll just enjoy it. I don't go for a ride in the morning because, oh God, I bought this bike, now I have to prove to myself that it's worth it, so I have to ride. Oh my, I've taken a membership of the cult gym, so I have to go there. No, I'll skip it. If I don't want to go to the gym, I will just skip it for a week. It's okay. You don't lose muscles in 15 days. They're all there. Muscles sankat mein hai. No, they're there. They won't go. So take life easy. Work on your aims, so long as you enjoy them. Otherwise, they are not your aims. You have to realize your aim is one which you enjoy. If you don't enjoy it, it's not your aim. Go for another aim. You can't you find happiness where you seek it. You won't. Happiness will come your way once you just come upon it. So juggling will become very easy once you know what gets you happiness and how you manage your time. You sleep on time, wake up early in the morning. That's the key. Because you have to elongate your day. Most activities can be done during the day, not during the night. So you should elongate your day along with the cycle of the sun rather than the cycle of the moon. That is how you should focus. Normally people will focus more on the moon. We are not bats or owls. We are not nocturnal creatures. So easiest way for me is to start with the sun and then wind up by late evening. I have my dinner at 7:30. I don't eat much after that. That makes so many things easier. So many things. I don't put on weight. My metabolism is fine. My gut health is good. So focus on those aspects. Things will be easier. See, mental health workers, psychiatrists, psychologists have to be treated and seen as friends. Going to a mental health professional should not be seen as a medical help at all. I mean, right now there is focus on, obviously, I mean, for the correct reason, up until now it is a stigma. वो पागल है वो आदमी, उसका दिमाग ख़राब है, ही इज़ अ मेंटल केस. No, it's not a mental case. So right now we are trying to deal with it becoming a mental case, like it's a taboo or he is possessed by a spirit, and to make it a disease. That's how generally all countries such as ours are now focused on doing. Now this has to, after this is successfully done, in my view, it has to further go from a disease to just an issue which has to be dealt with professionally by a friend who's sitting in a clinic. There has to be something, happy about visiting a psychiatrist. It's very bad right now, and we are trying to upgrade it to it's just a hospital or a clinic. Just like you get malaria, you picked up a mental disorder. That's very important as an intermittent step. Further ahead, I think we have to associate mental health, or rather treatment of mental disorders, with happiness, as if we are going to a gym to work out on our body. We are going to a spa or a saloon. It has to be made a happy place. Clinics also have to be devised in such manners that they bring in happiness, not just peace and calmness. That is very important to happiness, but there has to be some sort of positivity, especially if younger adults or even older children have to be treated. And treatment word also has to in fact slowly go away from this, so that stigma will go. It is already going. I see a lot of people even within my organization who have started visiting or for counseling, if not for treatment. So this I think will it's going in that direction. I'm happy to see that even on radio, television, we see a lot of ads, and trying to bring out this aspect that it's just an illness, just like dengue is an illness or COVID is an illness. This is also one illness which may require a professional doctoral or a psychiatric treatment. That's a happy sign, but it has to slowly progress into something which is very very positive, not just removal of negativity, but the addition of pure positivity. A lot of people, even who are otherwise baseline normal, will be able to benefit only then. Normal people will not generally be able to visit a psychiatrist now, because they don't diagnose within themselves any illness, whereas there is so much to gain from a psychiatric or a psychological professional. Lot of gains can come even to a normal person who is not able to generally motivate himself to do very well. Will be benefiting. Well, this is a very crucial and very important role. I'm not really a professional in mental health, but yes, why not? I mean, I think I would love to play a role, at least amongst the peers that I see, if not the public at large. And even my new book that I'm writing on entrepreneurship will certainly look into aspects of motivation, how you deal with peer pressures, family issues, especially if they are contrarian, which they no doubt are going to be for a person who wants to break the norm and become an entrepreneur, a first generation entrepreneur within his family. So there is going to be deep coverage in the book as well. So maybe some podcasts I can start. That'll be a good idea. Working for mental health of everybody, particularly young adults. I think that's where the focus should be, because two aspects will come out of it. One is if they have any disorders, they are likely to be treated or done away with in time, and they will also be open for the rest of their lives to visit psychiatrists or clinics, and they will certainly be able to encourage their own offsprings, brothers, sisters, friends to do the same. So I think any focus in improving this culture of visiting mental institutions or clinics should have its focus area on young adults, and I'd love to play a role in that, certainly. Firstly, thank you for having me as a part of the selection committee. I've had my share of submissions, so it's very difficult. At the outset, I will say a submission of any kind is very difficult, especially when you are writing something. Although you get enough time to improve on it. I mean, it's your own stuff. You could have edited it in 100 ways. So my area, because each of us has his own or her own strengths and loves, desires and fears. So my focus will certainly definitely be on content and the way it is written. So content and may not be grammar. I will not be a stickler for very normalized, simple, smooth flowing grammar. I like slightly complex and complicated writing. I mean, my book also, The Secret of the Stolen Idols, I've written about 7 or 8 different styles of writing. So I would love to see something very unique, very bold, very difficult in a way of writing. And vocabulary is not something which is very important actually. Very high vocabulary tends to become difficult to read, but a complex verbosity sometimes is entertaining. So my predilection will be towards content certainly, and the level of English, especially the style of writing, not generally specifically vocabulary or grammar.